Well, welcome guys. My name's Rachel. I'm one of the admission counselors at Bentley University. I read for the Western Mass Territory, so if you guys did apply to Bentley, I would be the one reading your application. I can, provide my email and stuff like that so you guys can write it down if you have any questions after today. All that good stuff. So Bentley University, we're a mid-sized university based out of Waltham, Massachusetts, which is about 9 miles west of Boston. So it's kind of nice. It's like a town right outside of Boston, so you can kind of go into the city, but then decompress and come out of the city, which is really nice, and we have a really beautiful campus and stuff like that. We're a mid-sized university, which means we have around 4,000 undergrad and around 2,000 grad students. And we take in around 1,000 students each year and get around 9,000 applications, so that's kind of the competitiveness level. Perfect, thank you. We can kind of read through this booklet together and just kind of talk it through if that works. So I'll talk about kind of like the more boring stuff, I guess, but like classes and majors and all that kind of stuff first. So we're traditionally a business university. It's kind of what we're known for. If you do a Google search of Bentley, it'll come up as business. But we like to we know that business is kind of in a multitude of industries and careers, right? Every industry you can think of, criminal justice, health sciences, all has a business component to it, whether that's accounting, whether that's sales, something like that. There's always a business aspect in each field. So we try to set ourselves apart from, the dozens of other schools that are in the Boston area, because there's so many, by being a business institution that really integrates arts and sciences. So if you look at the first page here, there's a lot of different opportunities. We have about 28 majors spanning both business and the arts and sciences. And what's really cool is that you can have a business degree and pair it with one of our liberal studies majors, getting a dual major, or a double major, in a business field and an arts and sciences field, not taking any extra classes and still graduating in those 4 years, which is really awesome. So if you look here, you can get a business degree, pair it with a liberal studies major, or on the flip side, have an arts and sciences degree and pair that with something more business related. And because we see business in all these industries and careers, that's kind of why we're pairing the two, right? Which is really awesome. So, say you're a finance major and you really, you love the stock market, all that kind of stuff, but you're really passionate about the environment, you can pair your finance degree with a LSM in Earth, Environment, and Global Sustainability and work at a renewable energy company in their finance department. Like, there's just really cool opportunities. So for whoever's interested in health science, was it you interested? Yeah. There's a health and industry liberal studies major. So you could have a background or like a foundation in like a marketing or something like that and then pair it with that health and industry, which is really cool and really unique. And so how we structure things at Bentley is that every student comes in as an undecided business major. And what's really cool, and you don't find this at a lot of places and something I wish I knew when I was 18, is that you don't have to declare your major at Bentley until the end of your sophomore year, which is huge. Because you have 2 years to kind of just be a college student, like just kind of figure it out. And what's really cool is that, like I said, everybody comes in as an undecided business major, and so your freshman year, you're going to take, we think of it kind of as like a funnel, right? So at your freshman year, it's the most wide, and you're going to take a general business course. You're going to take, a finance course, an accounting course, a data analytics course, all this kind of stuff to kind of dip your toes in every aspect of business. And then as you get closer to your senior year, you're going to take a couple more specific courses. So your sophomore year, you're going to take kind of more gen ed courses, so maybe, a science course, a math course, stuff like that, but still kind of narrowing what you're interested in. And by the end of your sophomore year, when you are going to declare that major, you'll know kind of like what your path is going to be. And that's when our career services really does step in and kind of get you an internship and stuff like that, which is really awesome. Any questions so far? Hi, how are you?
Good morning.
Good morning. Any questions? Okay, perfect. And so, have any of you visited Bentley's campus before? I know it's kind of far from here. No? Okay. If you get the chance and you're interested, we have virtual and on-campus options of like tours and info sessions, interviews, all that kind of stuff. So even if you can't make it to campus, we have a lot of virtual options as well, which is really cool. But if you look on the second page here, we have 6 high-tech labs that have the most up-to-date technology in business, right? So we have the CIS sandbox where students can actually like create apps and video games and stuff like that. It's really cool. We have the Center for Languages and International Collaboration. We have a huge international population on our campus, which is really awesome. The Media and Culture Lab and Studio, and then our like pride and joy is our trading room. So we have the largest university trading room in the nation. It has 24 Bloomberg terminals, the stock market ticker going like across and stuff like that. It's really cool, and you don't have to be a finance major to use it. If like there's something going on in the stock market, like that whole GME thing or whatever, you can like, you know, be like, I'm really interested right now and go into it. You don't have to be a finance major, which is really cool. You have access to all these labs as a Bentley student, which is really unique, really awesome. So we'll talk about internships. Bentley is kind of known for our internship opportunities. So we have, sounds like a fake statistic, but we have the #1 career services department in the nation. We were ranked #1 by the Princeton Review for having for our internships, our internship opportunities, and just our career services department as a whole. So like I said, your freshman year, that most narrow part of that funnel, you're going to take a class called CDI 101, and basically Career Development 101. And they're going to help you build a resume, build a LinkedIn, build a cover letter, all that kind of stuff, and really kind of get you prepared. I didn't build a LinkedIn until I was like 21. Like, you have that done at 18, which is really awesome. And they kind of work with you all throughout those 4 years, right? So when you're declaring your major at the end of your sophomore year and you're ready for an internship, they're going to figure out, what are you interested in? Like, what companies are you passionate about? Which companies do you want to work for? And they'll get you into those places. We have huge connections in Boston and New York and, kind of even Springfield. Like, we have a lot of connections everywhere. And our alumni are at all these companies, and they want to hire Bentley students. So it's really awesome. I like to say this as like a personal anecdote. I started at Bentley in March of 2021. And obviously students usually graduate in like May. Every student I met in the admissions office in March had a job lined up for after graduation. That's crazy. Like 2 or 3 months in advance, they already had jobs lined up. And I know some people right now that are seniors. Like I run the tour guides at Bentley, and some of my tour guides, like one of my tour guides, Erica, she has a job lined up with JP Morgan in New York City after graduation. And it's October 1st. So that's crazy. She's already planning to move to New York City and has a job lined up, which is so awesome. I'm so happy for her. She deserves the world. And so 92% of our students complete one internship, and around 70% complete more than one. So if after your first internship you were like, yeah, I didn't really, vibe with that company, like I want to try something else, they can get you into a new company and try something new that next summer, right? Which is really awesome. About 50% of the time, those turn into full-time jobs, and a lot of the internships are paid, which is really, really awesome. So yeah, any questions about that? We'll do kind of a Q&A at the end if you think of anything, but cool. Okay. So the next part, kind of like different hands-on learning opportunities. Study abroad. I'm sure a lot of the schools you're looking at have study abroad. We like to think it's unique at Bentley because you can do 1 week, 1 month, 1 semester, or a whole year if you wanted to. And what's really cool is that we have 25 countries or around 30 countries that we work with and around 80 programs, so you can really choose something that's you're interested in. And like I said, we have a big international population as well, so we have a lot of connections in those countries. And there's different faculty-led trips, like during winter break and spring break. So some examples I like to give that were pretty recent are, like if you wanted to study like fashion marketing or like retail marketing, you could go to Milan, Italy with like one of those, professors or something like that. Or, actuarial science, you could work at the Bank of Dublin for a week or something. Like there's really cool opportunities. And that would look fantastic on a resume, right? Like that's cool. So that's a really popular opportunity that students take. We also have service learning, which is a lot like community service. So you're able to work with residents in Waltham or around the surrounding area, the Boston area, in a bunch of different, opportunities. So there, some examples are, English as a second language, computer assistance, tax assistance. A lot of our accounting students run like a low-income tax clinic for the low-income residents of Waltham, which is really awesome. So there's a bunch of different learning opportunities as well. Next page. And so like I said, these internship and career opportunities, they really do work. About 98% of our class of 2020 was either employed or in grad school 6 months after their graduation. 98%, which is huge. And their median starting salary was about $62,000. At 22, that's great. So that's really awesome. And you can see a bunch of the companies that we work with out here. A lot of them are based out of New York, Boston, stuff like that. As for like the last page, we can kind of chat about fun stuff. So we have over 100 clubs and organizations. You can always really find something that you like. We have like a chess club, car club, all that kind of stuff. For sports, we're NCAA Division II. We're Division I for men's ice hockey. We have a brand new rink. It's like really cool. I just went in there the other day. It's like really sustainable too. It has like solar panels all on the top. It's really nice. So those games are really fun to go to. Let's see. Yeah, and we have Greek life. Greek life here is not like University of Alabama Greek life. It's on a much smaller scale and really business oriented, really community service oriented, kind of getting you prepared for adult life, I guess, pretty much. Yeah.
You guys have soccer?
We have soccer, yeah. We have men's and women's soccer, and what's also awesome is if you didn't want the commitment of like Division II, because it's a lot, we also have club teams and intramural sports as well. So club teams are still pretty competitive. It's not NCAA, but you're still playing other teams in the area, so like Babson or Bryant, but it's not as competitive. Yeah, and if you look up, like, I think it's just like Bentley Athletics, all the coaches' informations are on there as well if you wanted to reach out. Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. All right, so where are we on? Last page here. So the last page is application stuff. So I can tell you as a member of the admission committee, I would be the one reading your application, right? So we have a very holistic review process, and what's really great is that I would read your application and then one of my superiors would read it as well. So we can make sure that you're a good fit for us and we're a good fit for you, right? Which is really great. We'll look at your GPA, like the courses you've taken, all that kind of stuff that you've challenged yourself. But I also want to see kind of what you do outside of the classroom, right? Like, are you the president of a club? Are you in any clubs? Are you captain of a sport? Stuff like that. Leadership opportunities, community service, all that kind of stuff. Like, seeing you as a whole person, right? Which is really awesome. For the women in the room, I'll pass these out. We have a women's leadership program because a lot of business, you know what? Maybe I didn't bring them with me, but anyway. We have a women's leadership program, which is really awesome. If you are accepted, it's $10,000 scholarship every year that you're at Bentley. So, adds up to $40,000. It's really great. And it's just really great opportunities to, like, connect with other women in these male-dominated fields. And it's a great alumni network. You have keynote speakers. It's just a really awesome program. And it's fairly new, so you would be kind of in, like, creating it almost, which is really great. See what else. We're going to be test optional for this next round. I'm sure a lot of the schools you're looking at are test optional. Basically, if you want to submit your scores, you totally can. If you're a bad test taker like me and don't want to, it's not going to hurt your application. So it's totally up to you. Anything else? Because we're test optional, I usually like to say, like, kind of put your all into your essay, right? Like, really be authentic, spelling, grammar, all that good stuff, but just really find what you're passionate about and write about it. Like, I can tell when something's superficial versus authentic, right? For recommendations, I usually like to give the advice of, like, maybe pick one, counselor or teacher that really knows you as a person well, like, she's really mature, she's really respectful, she's really kind, and then picking one other teacher or counselor that really knows you academically really well. So, like, she's really good at math, she's a really great work ethic, stuff like that, just so that we can see you kind of as a whole person, right? That's kind of the goal. But that is kind of the gist of my spiel, and I know it was very long-winded. Does anyone have any questions about college, about anything? It's pretty self-explanatory, I guess, but we have a open house coming up actually on Sunday. I know it's short notice, but if you're interested, it'll be fun. There'll be tours, free food. It'll be really fun. I know it's quite the drive, but it'll be a really fun day if you're interested in that. Yeah? Yeah, sure. I can talk about that. So It's not required to live on campus any 4 years. So if you find it, you know, you have 3 or 4 friends and want to live in Waltham off campus, that's totally fine. But we do have living for students on campus all 4 years. So the freshman dorms are actually pretty big, and you have AC all 4 years. Like AC your freshman year is huge. It's coming from a recent college grad, it's huge, and so, which is really awesome. Your sophomore year, it's going to be more apartment-ish, but you're going to have kind of like a kitchenette. So you'll have like a microwave, mini fridge, stuff like that, but it'll still be pretty dorm heavy, I guess. And then junior and senior year, it'll be definitely like apartment styles. So a full kitchen, you know, you're living with 3 friends, you have your own room kind of thing. But a lot of our seniors do live off campus in the Waltham area as well. So whatever works out for you. So, yeah. Anything else?
You don't have the nursing program, correct?
We don't, no. So yeah, because we're mainly business oriented, we have that health and industry kind of component, but we don't have a specific nursing program.
Okay. What is the diversity on it?
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad you brought that up because we have a new major coming in next year. So when you guys would be, seniors would be coming in, and it's called DEI, Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and it's kind of taking all aspects of business and kind of how can we bring diversity, equity, inclusion into that. So there's going to be courses on, you know, the LGBTQ plus community, you know, race theory, you know, all this different type of stuff to make people more aware in the different fields of business. And it's going to be its own major. And you can either get your Bachelor's of Science or your Bachelor's of Arts in it, and it's going to be really cool. They're kind of working out the kinks of it right now, so by the time you apply, are you junior or senior? Okay, so by the time you apply, it'll be all set. So definitely like check out the website and stuff maybe like this time next year, but it's really cool. As of right now, I believe our percentage of people of color on campus is around 28%. You know, we're really trying to ramp it up, and we hope that this major kind of does that. A lot of it's who applies, but we also have, which is really awesome, a first gen. So if any of you in the room are first generation, so your parents didn't go to college or your grandparents, we have a first generation program where if you apply to be a fellow, it's like a first generation fellow, it's a full ride, which is really cool. Yeah. So definitely check that out online. It's called First Generation Fellows. They're obviously are pretty limited. I think we only take maybe like 5 to 10 students per year, but like worth it, right? Like that's awesome. So that's really awesome as well. And we're trying to ramp it up. We have a really active spiritual life office, which is really awesome. Celebrates all religions, which is really great. And we're just really trying to like be better with diversity, equity, inclusion. I think this major will do a lot with it as well. So, yeah. Anything else?
Plus your merit scholarship, do you guys give out merit scholarships?
Yeah, so you don't have to apply for merit scholarship. Every student who applies is automatically considered. So the lowest amount you can get is $5,000, or I guess the lowest amount is 0, but the lowest amount is $5,000, and the highest amount is $30,000 a year, which is really great. Those students who we offer $30,000 to, we offer the honors program. That's about the top 10% of our class that we're taking in. And you can always appeal as well if you get an amount lower that you were hoping for. You can always appeal and ask for more. It's a pretty seamless process, so yeah.
How much financial aid do you guys give?
So the merit scholarship is kind of the bulk of what Bentley gives. And so after, say you got a certain amount of merit scholarship, then you would apply for financial aid, and that's based on household income and kind of all that stuff. And you could apply for the FAFSA and the CSS profile and stuff like that. And they kind of work their magic and stuff like that. Honestly, I don't have like a huge sense of how it works because it's very dependent on the student and all that kind of stuff. But the bulk of what Bentley gives is that merit scholarship. Yeah. And any local scholarships as well we'll take as well. So, yeah. When does what?
The open house. Where you can go to campus.
Oh, open house?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Sunday. So I know it's like really soon. But you can also, like, if you can't come Sunday, we have like on-campus tours, info sessions, stuff like that if you're interested in just kind of doing that. But Sunday will be really fun. There's like it is kind of overwhelming after COVID, but there's like 500 students signed up or something, so it's going to be a fun day. There's going to be a lot going on, so. Yeah.
How do you sign up?
Oh, sorry, I didn't even hear you say that. You just go on our website. You just go on Bentley, and then you can just, I may even have a card for it. You can just type in, like, search open house, and it should pop up. I wonder if this has how to do it. But you can definitely take it anyway. But, yeah. Yeah, you just go onto our website and just type in, I can hand these out too, open house, and then you can sign up. It's really easy to register. Yeah. Anything else? Cool. Okay. I didn't bring my business cards, unfortunately. So if any of you have pens and want to write down my email, that could possibly work, because that way, if you think of any questions, you can totally email me. So my email is just my first and last name, RachelBrown, Rachel Brown at bentley.edu. So if you guys have any questions, if you think of anything, definitely reach out. I'm happy to reach out as well. Hi, how are you?
Good. I'm sorry I'm late.
No, that's okay.
At what?
Bentley.edu. Here, I'll give you kind of some stuff. Thank you. You're welcome. I kind of gave my spiel, but do you have any questions? Like, what do you want? What are you considering studying?
Business.
Perfect. Okay, so we can kind of chat and see what you're interested in as well. Any other questions? No. Okay. Cool. Well, if you think of any, definitely reach out. Can I take those inquiry cards back that you wrote your names on, and the pens, only because I only brought a limited number of pens. Thank you. Awesome, thank you so much. Yeah. So do you want me to kind of hang around?
I don't
yeah.
know if you have any questions, but
Okay,
we should be all set after
Okay,
that.
yeah, because I was thinking we could just talk one-on-one.
Okay.
Hear any repeated information.
All right.
Yeah. Good question.
If you're abroad, can you only do one?
So it kind of depends on the program you do. I would say, like, definitely if you're doing, like, a whole semester, like, I would only do one, only because the closer you get to your junior, senior year, you're going to want to take more courses that, like, you'll need to graduate. Like, you can take a lot of courses abroad that are more gen eds, but for the ones that are very business focused, like, that'll help you graduate, they like you to take those on campus. But so a lot of students will, like, do it maybe the end of their sophomore year, beginning of their junior year. But it's hard to do more than one because they want, you know, Bentley's professors to, like, teach you the material. Does that make sense? Okay. But it's dependent on the program. You know, you might find a program where they're like, yeah, like, a lot of our stuff's abroad, you know, so it's pretty dependent. Yeah. All right.
You should be all set. You can go to class.
And then if you and I want to chat one-on-one, we can kind of talk about Bentley and stuff too, if that works. Oh, you're fine. You're good. I might just have you fill this out for me for, like, info purposes, and then I can just kind of give you the rundown of everything. So do you know what aspect of business you want to study, or just kind of in general you want to study business?
Yeah, just like management.
Oh, nice. Okay. So, like I was telling them, Bentley is, you know, a mid-sized university. We have around 4,000 undergrad, and we're, like, right outside of Boston in Waltham, which is really nice. A really beautiful campus. Have you been to Bentley before?
No.
No? Okay. Definitely recommend if you get a chance to come out. Definitely, I would. So what's really cool is that...
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Have a good day, guys. We have, like... We try to set ourselves apart for being, like, a business institution by having business degrees as well as liberal studies and like arts degrees as well. So you're able to have a business degree and pair it with something that's liberal studies as well. So if you wanted, I believe we have a management minor. So what you could probably do is have a degree in something you're interested in, right? Like, you know, say you're interested in like finance or econ or something, and then pairing it with something that's more liberal studies related. So, you know, I don't know, health and industry or diversity in society or earth, environment, global sustainability, and then having that minor in management could get you set up pretty well, you know. So.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's really cool. Yeah. Hi guys, how are you? Good.
Read, but like, I
We're
just
all
want to.
campus at the college. Oh, yeah, I don't know if you want to get a pamphlet.
Yeah, do you want to just pick up a pamphlet and stuff?
Yeah, I just need like an overview.
Yeah, definitely. So Bentley is generally a business institution. What are you guys interested in possibly studying?
Business entrepreneurship.
Great, okay. So yeah, I was just telling her, like, we try to set ourselves apart. We're in Waltham, Massachusetts, and we try to set ourselves apart by being a business university that also has arts and sciences as well. So what's really cool is that you can have a business degree and kind of pair it with something that's more liberal studies. So if you were like, you know, I really want to do entrepreneurship. Did you say entrepreneurship? Yeah. And I want to work in a hospital or something like that. You can pair it with health and industry and kind of have that background in health as well, which is really cool.
Like, so if you were to do that, like, what would you do in the hospital?
So there's like a hospital management. So obviously you wouldn't be kind of on the floor. You'd be kind of in the back offices, like kind of running the hospital. So like, you know, the finances behind it, the accounting behind it. Like so kind of on the back end. Yeah. But there's different opportunities as well. So like if you were really interested about saving the environment, like there's an earth, environment, and global sustainability. Like there's just a bunch of different options.
Is there like diverse in society?
Yeah, right here. Diversity and society.
Is it just a business college, or like can there be regular majors like psychology?
Yeah, so what's really cool is that you can have, like, because we're primarily a business institution, we, you know, most of our students do study business, but you can also do an arts and sciences major and then pair it with something that's more business related, because business is in kind of everything, right? Like, you know, like the sales aspect, you know, all that kind of stuff. So I know that we have psychology as a minor, but what you could probably do is have, like, you know, either like public policy or international affairs or liberal arts or something like that, and pair it with like human behavior and organization. That's very, you know, psychology focused.
Yeah.
Can you take a business major and a liberal studies major and a minor?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what's really cool is that if you pair two of these together, he can take this. If you pair two of these together, it's not like extra courses or you don't like stay longer than the 4 years or anything like that. It's like integrated into your education, which is really cool.
Are SATs and SATs required?
So we're going to be test optional. Are you a senior? Are you guys seniors or juniors?
Yes, seniors.
Seniors. Okay. So we're going to be test optional. So you can submit your scores if you want. If you don't want to submit them, totally fine. It's not going to hurt your application. But I would say if you're not going to submit them, to kind of really ramp up your essay, right? Like,
personal letters?
yeah, like
Okay.
you know, like spelling, grammar, all that kind of stuff. But just like really writing something that you're passionate about, that you know, really authentic, all that kind of stuff. Because we're not getting those SAT scores, you know, just kind of like ramping up one because one's down. You know?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is in-state intuition more or less than outside?
So we're a private institution, so it's all the same.
Okay.
Yeah, so in-state versus out-of-state is usually just for state schools, so like your UMass's and stuff like that, or like Westfield State, stuff like that. Private institutions are more just kind of like a set base. But we have merit scholarships, so you're automatically considered when you apply. So the lowest is $5,000 a year, the highest is $30,000 a year. So you could be, you know, 5, 10, 15, 20, and so on. We also have a women's leadership program. If you ladies want to look into that, it's a $10,000 scholarship each year, which is really cool. And so, you know, if you're accepted into that, it's really great. Yeah.
Yeah, it's my money.
Is there?
But no one ever pays that. Like, that's kind of like the sticker price. So, like, if you're buying a car, there's like a sticker price, you know what I mean? And then there's like, you know, like you can take out some of the fees and like stuff like that. Like you're never going to pay that specific amount. That's what they put on there. But you know, if you get merit aid, financial aid, you know, federal aid, all that kind of stuff, it definitely goes down, and stuff like that.
Are you allowed to have a car on campus?
Yeah.
Freshmen generally don't. You can always talk to, that's at most schools, honestly. Freshmen
Yeah,
can't have
true.
a car. It's just spacing, honestly. I would say you could talk to campus police if you're like, you know, I need to come home and visit a family member, stuff like that. But generally freshmen don't. What's really cool is that we have a shuttle that runs into Boston every half hour until 2 a.m. So you could, you know, go into Boston to see a concert, to go to dinner, whatever, and then come back, and the last one comes back at 2 a.m. So, you know, that's an option.
So even if you live like 1 hour away?
Yeah, that's still like.
Yeah, it's just generally like that's how it is at most schools, unfortunately. Freshmen generally just usually stay on campus and then have, you know, family members pick them up or something like that, or have a friend, you know, drive them home if they have a friend who's a junior or something. But there's always, you know, exceptions. So if you wanted to talk to campus police or something, they could possibly make an exception. I just can't say that. I don't know.
So going into that question, does transportation play a huge role? Like, is transportation provided, or is it just like you have to, like, freshman year, be on campus and do a board in the room?
I mean, everything is pretty much on campus. Like it's a little enclosed campus, which is nice, and it's not like you have to walk 5 football fields to get to class. Everything's kind of there, and there's always stuff going on, like sporting events, like bingo night, all that. Like you're never going to be just like sitting in your dorm with nothing to do. I know it's kind of scary being like, oh, I can't go anywhere. But like that shuttle is, you know, really accessible. You know, there's Ubers and stuff like that. But there's just, you know, for freshmen, they just don't have a lot of parking. So yeah, do you guys want to fill these out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is the school diverse?
Say that again. Sorry.
Is the school diverse?
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. So we have, I believe our students of color for 2020 was about 28%. So we're trying to ramp it up.
That's good.
And so we have a new major coming in next year. So when you guys would be applying. And it's called Diversity, Equity, Inclusion. And so it's kind of how to bring, it's called DEI, but like how to bring diversity, equity, inclusion into every aspect of business. So you would take courses on the LGBT plus community, on race theory, on like different things like that, religion, all that kind of stuff. Trying to bring that in. Do you want to fill this out?
What is that for?
It's just kind of like getting more information. If you don't, it's totally fine. But
Oh, it's okay.
all set? Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What African American studies?
We don't have that as like a specific major or minor. We have I believe we have a multicultural like department on campus, which is really awesome, and a lot of our students work out of there and run events and stuff like that. But we don't have a specific major for that.
But I'm assuming you guys have American Lit and Society.
We have an American Studies. I'll find the exact name of it. I believe it's American Studies is one of the liberal studies majors. Yeah, so one of the concentrations for the liberal studies majors is American Studies. But, yeah.
Westfield came already. They came back.
Oh wait, I messed this up. Never mind. Can I just?
That's fine. Don't worry about it. Do you guys have any other questions?
Is there a culinary class?
There's not, no. Like a culinary, like, major? No.
Is there a dining hall?
Yes, yeah. There's a couple. There's a Dunkin' on campus. There's like a nice bagel place on campus, and then the main dining hall is really nice. A what?
Is it Brewers?
No, it's called Einstein's Bagels.
Oh my God, Kathy.
It's just as good as Brugger's, and there's a Brugger's like right down the street, which is nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we get like it's super good, and we get like Brugger's for our student workers like every time they work an event and stuff. So. Like bribing.
Is there jobs on campus?
Yeah, so you could have work study, and that's a part of the financial aid process and stuff like that, and that's basically part of your financial aid package. But there's also like not work study jobs. Like I run the tour guides at camp on like the admissions office, and that's not work study related. So you could just apply for that. And then you could always get a job like off campus too. There's a lot of like different like stores around, restaurants, stuff like that. If you wanted to do off campus as well. there's a lot of different opportunities. Yeah.
Damn, that sucks how we can't have a card on the ticket.
Yeah.
So I expect, well, if I were to apply for financial aid, like,
Mhm.
is there a possibility, like, have you guys ever given full rides to students?
So I was telling the students that were here before, we have, if any of you are first generation students, you are, so that means obviously your parents, your grandparents, and so on and so forth. It doesn't apply to like aunts and uncles or brothers and sisters, I believe. If you're a first generation student, you're considered to be a first generation fellow, and that's based on like, grades, all that kind of stuff. We kind of look at different students, and we take around maybe like 5 or 10, it depends on the year, and it's a full ride.
Damn.
So, yeah. We're trying to ramp up first generation students as well. So that's a great opportunity as well. And you can just look that up on our website too, just first generation, and it'll pop up. Yeah.
You guys want that?
I went to Springfield, and parking on campus was even a problem like my sophomore year. So,
Where in Springfield?
Springfield College.
Oh, Springfield.
Yeah. Yeah, and so it's just everywhere. I mean, I went to Suffolk my freshman year, so I couldn't really have a car because it was in the middle of the city.
Exactly.
But everywhere you can't really have a car your freshman year. It's just kind of like a thing, unfortunately.
When you have a car, you don't even use it.
Yeah, you don't generally need it, honestly. Like, when you're going home for breaks and stuff, that's one thing. Unfortunately, you'd have to have someone pick you up or something. But yeah, with like classes and jobs and like, you're going to be busy on campus. So there's not a ton of reason to leave. And if you have to, there's always that shuttle, which is nice. So.
How far is it away from? Well, I imagine this is a town or a city.
Yeah, Waltham. It's probably, so it's a town outside of Boston. So it's not too suburban-y, but it's not too city-y. It's kind of in the middle. It's about 9 miles west of Boston, so it's about a 15-minute drive to Boston. Yeah.
Oh, so that explains why you told us about the bus.
Yes. Yeah, so that runs every half hour. They kind of just constantly go back and forth. So.
Wait, so like it's the shuttle comes on campus?
Yep. Yeah, so it picks you up at a certain spot on campus and drops you off at Harvard Square. And then Harvard Square, you can pick up the red line and take it into downtown Boston. Yeah. Or if you want to walk around Cambridge, you can do that too. So there's a lot. But I think my email was on the like Rev Visits thing, so if you have any questions or have any more students that want to like reach out to me, totally fine. But yeah.
Oh, do you guys have dorming for all 4 years?
Yeah. So sorry, I'm forgetting what I mentioned to them versus you guys. So we have housing all 4 years if you wanted to live on campus, but you don't have to live on campus any of the years if you don't want to. So if you found it cheaper to like get an apartment in Waltham with a couple of friends, totally fine too. And so freshman year, the dorms are actually pretty big. I want to say they're like maybe from that wall to like here. Like they're pretty big for a freshman dorm. Yeah, they're pretty big, and they have AC. Your freshman year, you have AC, which is huge to have air conditioning your freshman year.
Yeah.
It's huge, believe
Who does
me.
your freshman year?
No, all 4 years you have AC,
Oh.
which is so like it's crazy. Like going to Springfield College and those dorms, like it's crazy. Anyway, yeah, it can get very hot. Sophomore year you have more like a kitchenette style, so like you'd still probably have a roommate, but there's like a microwave, mini fridge, stuff like that. And then junior and senior year it's more apartment style, so you would have 3 people that you live with, you have your own room and have a full kitchen, bathroom, stuff like that.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, but a lot of our seniors do live off campus, like in houses in Waltham and stuff. So it's whatever works for you, pretty much. Yeah. Yeah. If you guys have any questions,
You guys just came
You
to
know.
play AIC, right? The football team?
did we? I have no idea.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm so like focused on like I'm running the tour guide, so I'm like open house, open house, open house. I don't even know what's going on, but maybe. Our football team just got nationally ranked for like the first time in like 40 years or something, so that's kind of cool.
You guys have international students?
Yeah.
So, like, how many countries come in?
Yeah, so there's a lot, I believe. So we work with around 80 countries for studying abroad. I don't think that many countries like come here. It's dropped since COVID, unfortunately, how many countries have came. I think we're around 16% of our students are international right now. And I want to say maybe around like 40 countries.
You can study abroad?
Yeah. Yeah, for like a week, a month, a semester, or a whole year. Like, there's a lot of
How do
opportunities.
you do that?
You just talk to the study abroad office.
How do you apply though?
You talk
You
to
just
them.
like talk to them?
Yeah, so
have
you
to
go-
pick that a language to literally go?
No,
No?
no. I mean, if you wanted to, I mean, it'd probably be easier. If you were like, if you don't know like Mandarin and you wanted to go to China, you know what I mean? Like, it would just make more sense. But
Yeah.
I don't believe you have to. You just work with them. Like, I would work with them no matter where you go to college. I would work with the study abroad office if you're interested in that, like your freshman year, because it comes up quick. They'll likely have you go like second semester sophomore year or first semester junior year. So you kind of want to have it planned out, you know, because it's huge. If you're going to do a whole semester, it's huge, and you have to plan out what courses you're going to take there and stuff like that. So yeah, it's really cool. It's a really cool opportunity, especially to travel. Like, it's just great.
Yeah, I've seen Greece on there, and Greece is France. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, definitely read it. If you have any questions, let me know. All right.
You guys are ready?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks for meeting with me, guys. If you have any questions, let me know. You're welcome.